Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. All right.
Cool.
Welcome to this podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
Oh, you can't tell anything this.
I'm listening.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
I didn't see the big deal about the human body.
I worship Cthulhu just for the free beer.
Yeah, and don't go to Sam's Club either.
But you didn't even give a chance for a wild card spot!
What are we doing in Tijuana?
You're like, what did you just say?
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled for.
Podcast, alright.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous ending to that game that I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up.
We're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
So I don't hear Pope Francis saying that he's a prophet, seer, and revelator.
What planet are these people on?
Thank you, Black Rum.
See, this is a disgrace.
How'd that happen?
And it's got Chick-fil-A.
Hey, we're getting somewhere.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernefsky.
Fuji!
So, welcome to the podcast. This is the first of 3 shows that would have taken place during KC Fringe 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's some issues, pandemic related. So we're limited to just one show, but we're going to record all the shows anyway. And it gives me a tremendous pleasure to reintroduce to our podcast audience, Adam McKeith. Adam, how have you been?
Pretty good. If I just drop my tablet, that's okay.
Yeah.
Good, man. Can't complain. Got hit by an 18-wheeler. Got a torn rotator cuff, torn hip labrum, bruised spine. Other than that, I'm great.
Well, as long as you're, for the most part, healthy, right?
Yeah, bro. I got to count my blessings. The guy rear-ended. It was an 18-wheeler that hit me at full speed. I was stopped on the highway. My whole lane was stopped. And he told the police that he was cleaning his windshield, so he didn't realize traffic had stopped, which is code for, he was probably on his phone. But oh well, at least he was nice, He's like, he might be like, "Oh my God, are you alive? Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't know. I can't move my leg."
Oh.
He called the paramedics, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, it's counting my blessings. Could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah. You're lucky to be alive. That's the important thing, right? Yeah.
I got like 8 lives left.
Yeah, this is pretty scary to have that sort of thing happen, especially on the highway, right?
Yeah, everybody on the way to work thought that there was a fatality, but
yeah.
No goddamn fatality. It's me. I got shit to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds me, the first car I ever had actually died on the highway too.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Luckily, there was no accident involved. It was just getting ready to crap out. So I guess we could start with some little, at least of interest to me and of interest, kind of interest to you as a football fan. As you know, I've been keeping tabs on all these LA-related lawsuits.
Oh, God.
Right? Yeah. So I'll start with the Oakland lawsuits. That got thrown out of court.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they didn't have as strong a case as anticipated and everything. But the good news is that St. Louis, their lawsuit is likely going to trial.
Yeah, I know you're really passionate about the Rams when they were here and really upset when they left and the way they left. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting, man. The Rams seem to be going downhill. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of early.
Yeah.
Drafted a guy in the second round, which they said was probably a reach. They traded their first round pick for Jalen Ramsey and got rid of Marcus Peters. But Marcus Peters was all pro this year, so it's kind of like they made give up a first round pick for a sideways move.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever.
I'm loving it from some off the field reasons. One, I guess that monstrosity that they're building is still not finished. Number one. And number two, that Stan is going to be liable for all damages. And that'd be the owner.
Right.
You're right. So he tried to appeal all this to the U.S. Supreme Court, saying there's a clause in this lease that says, by the lease I mean the lease on the Dome, that they voided.
Right.
That they were supposed to go to arbitration based on this particular lease, and every step of the way the court said, no, this has nothing to do with this case. This case is all about you people violating your own relocation policy. Yeah.
Wow.
And even the Supreme Court said the exact same thing. And this is not worth our time, so we're not even going to hear the appeals. All right.
And the Supreme Court was like, "Hey, read your own goddamn writing."
Yeah, read your own goddamn writing, exactly, and read the goddamn writing of the Missouri District Court that this is being heard in St. Louis, and as well as the opinions of the Appellate Court and the Missouri Supreme Court as well. So the trial date is October 25th of next year, 2021. So it's either going to go to trial or they're going to settle, and keeping tabs on this as much as I have. I don't think they're going to settle. I don't think the St. Louis attorneys are interested in settling. And from everything,
how much do you think they're going to end up owing the city of St. Louis?
Well, that's the next thing I was going to mention. We could be looking at $1 to $2 billion in damages. So maybe an expansion team comes out of this. We shall see.
Dude, that'd be pretty hilarious because I know that. Yeah, because my sister lives in St. Louis. My brother-in-law is from there, but then everybody in St. Louis seems to have adopted Kansas City as their team. And as your listeners know, that's that's where we're at, KC. But what I find really interesting how the Saints got really screwed out of the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
Right.
Against the Rams. It was flagrant pass interference call.
Yeah.
But they missed it on purpose. But what I find interesting is I know that NFL was doing their damnedest to win the LA market. It's supposed to be, big market. I think that's why they let that slide. And, it was the lowest Super Bowl of 11 years. But here's a fun fact. I met this guy who was this older guy a few years ago, 5-6 years ago. He was a millionaire and he was a businessman. So we got to talking. He was at the airport to stand by. But my point is, he said that he was one of the refs in the Super Bowl. He's an NFL ref. He was the ref in that Rams-Titans Super Bowl. And he told me that the calls come down from New York. The NFL, really heavily depicts what team is going to win. Because they tell them, what team to have heavily penalized, what team to let alone. Like if you watch, the Patriots Falcons Super Bowl in the second half, the Falcons do a goddamn thing without getting penalized.
so basically, you're saying that the NFL is rigged, is what you're saying.
That's what he told me, man. And I can believe it. It's especially the way NFL favors Brady. But what I found interesting is, it was second half the Falcons could do no right. They were getting penalized and flagged for everything. So.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
But I do know that the league influences by telling the refs which team to penalize and which team to leave alone and what to slide. So that's how they screwed the Saints over and ended up, backfiring because LA didn't give a shit about the Rams.
Yeah, LA doesn't give a shit about football periods. It's not just the professional liars. They haven't been treating the Chargers well either.
Because What's interesting, man? Like I was in LA for the Chargers Green Bay game, a couple of years ago, and it was like a home game for Green Bay, even though it was in LA, the Chargers. So people in San Diego are upset. People in LA don't give a shit.
Yeah, San Diego's upset, but the reason San Diego hasn't sued the Chargers, I thought this was interesting too. There was a clause in their last lease in San Diego that said, "We promise not to sue."
No kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned. Did you know that my sister is one of the Packer fan shareholders?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a huge Packer fan, and a few years ago bought a share of the team, and there are more owners of the Packers than there are residents of Green Bay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Green Bay fans are diehard. If they did have an owner, the owner would be like, this year's draft, be like, what the F is the front office doing? They had Rodgers for 4 more years. They move up to draft Jordan Love, who is nowhere near NFL ready. They're like, yeah, he's got potential. They didn't do anything to help Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they're a 13-3 team. They're in win now mode. They didn't get him any wide receivers in this draft. Devontae Adams is the only receiver he has. Jimmy Graham's gone.
Yeah. This is another symptom of my being hosed out of a team is that I'm not even paying attention to the draft anymore. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's. Yeah, the Packers basically got a D or an F in their draft. They just totally fucked it up. Didn't do anything to improve the team immediately at all.
Right.
So your sister might not be too happy about that. Ask her.
I hadn't asked her about her thoughts on the draft or anything, but then again, she's the type of person that only cares about when they get on the field and everything. And
I got you.
Yeah. But I do recall she was ecstatic when they drafted Jordy Nelson back in the day. And
right. Yeah, he went to K-State with me, so I was pretty ecstatic about that too.
Yeah. All 3 of my siblings are K-Staters, so you got that going. She graduated. I want to say about that time was when she was there too. So
yeah, but it's what was I going to say? Yeah, I was looking up Chiefs tickets today, and they've like drastically raised the prices, man, since winning the Super Bowl.
As you do.
Right? Yeah, like the season opener off of the Chiefs website, and you can find it cheaper off the other website. Nosebleed, row 300 plus. Cheapest I found was $290 for nosebleed. Are you effing kidding me?
Wow.
Last year it was about $175 for the home opener.
Wow.
Like in row 100s, it was like $680 or $580. Like, this is ridiculous. But apparently off of other websites, like cheap tickets or whatever, you can find it cheaper. That was a link off.
Yeah, NFL tickets, doesn't matter which team it is, and doesn't matter how well they did the previous year, but especially from what you're looking at average $70 for a decent tickets to any NFL game, really. So, yeah.
Chiefs. It's I guess nosebleeds off the Arrowhead website, Chiefs.com, or $280.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Really
make your money now while you still have that Super Bowl glow, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
which was a miracle too. People are like, yeah, it's a business move, but I was like, man, I've been here, since I was a kid, pretty much my whole life. They've been giving the whole city hope, letting us down year after year for 30 plus years.
What was it? I could have sworn it was 50 plus. I could have sworn it was 50 years in between the Super Bowls. But the Super Bowl appearances, never mind wins. So, all right, the last time that team was in the Super Bowl, Lynn Dawson was playing for them.
Right, Super Bowl 4.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe. 20 years since you mentioned Super Bowl 34. 20 years since that Super Bowl happened, and those will always be my Rams. Those that Super Bowl
Right.
34.
Yeah. Showing.
Warner, Falk, Bruce now going into Canton. Pace, hopefully Holtz will join them soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Torrey Holt.
Yeah, because that was the Rams were set to repeat, right, against the Patriots, but that was the one where
the
Spygate, where the Patriots ended up losing all sorts of draft picks because they were cheating. They were recording the Rams a lot.
Right. There's still theories out there that's about what the Patriots did in that particular Super Bowl 36, which was 2 years later. And but the cool thing about 34 was now this was a team that finished 4-12 the year before,
right?
And Trent Green was supposed to be the starter.
Yeah, his knee got destroyed by
Rodney Harrison.
Yep. Because it was interesting hearing Rodney Harrison talk about it. He's like, yeah, me and Trent were friends, and I hit his knee, and he ended up tearing his knee. And I'm like, he ended up tearing his knee, motherfucker. You tore his knee up for him.
Yep. Well, that's and I've actually been on the floor of the dome. That dome is pure concrete underneath all that turf. So
good Lord, bro.
Yeah. And then this guy out of Iowa comes in and wins them a Super Bowl. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Kurt Warner, a guy who was stocking shells at Hy-Vee up there.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. How does that happen? But good for him. He's been a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, he's off. Yeah, he turned in a Hall of Fame career. Got the Rams to 2 Super Bowls, winning the one, and then got Arizona to a Super Bowl. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I was really hoping that they would have won because I actually met Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he told us. You talked about that last time we did the podcast together. That's you thought he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Like I said, if he wasn't such a dick, I probably would have become a Steelers fan and bought his jersey. He's like, I think I just graduated college, so I was like, wow, it's so great. But since he was, I was like, screw him and screw the Steelers.
Right. Did you know my father's from Pittsburgh?
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he was a bit.
Well, sorry, Dad, if he's listening in.
He's not. He's not a social media type guy. Well,
it's like Terry Bradshaw on the old school Steelers. Like
those are his Steelers with Bradshaw on them. Yeah. And, I recall seeing Terry Bradshaw is 2000, right after the Rams went in the Super Bowl. There was a sports collectible show. I think I told you about last time. Warner was there. Kevin Carter was there. Isaac Bruce was there. Got to meet all 3 of them. I still like my Warner story. He was signing a photo for me, and the guy in front of me was fumbling around with stuff that he had just signed. So I'm helping the guy out, and then turn back. Oh, thanks, Kurt. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought Kevin Carter was a cool guy too. Yeah. And Bradshaw was at this thing as well. He was throwing footballs into the crowd. That was waiting to get his signature.
That's cool.
And this one I had my first camera, the bulky VHS camera, right? And, and I snuck it into the show, right? Snuck it in the show and said, getting us some video. I was hoping to get video of Bradshaw throwing this, but nah. We just kind of looked in the direction of my camera and just kind of held the football like that and didn't throw it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It must be cool in the audience catching balls from
Oh yeah, that was definitely fun to see and everything. Of course, my mother, may she rest in peace.
Yeah, sorry.
Not a Bradshaw fan. She grew up in Texas and was a big Cowboy fan and everything.
Just about girl.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd been 10 years in December when she had passed. So.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Is it getting easier?
Day by day. Day by day. I still miss her and everything, but
right.
Day by day, life goes on. So
I'm sure she'd be proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of cameras, man, it was pretty fun filming Tales from the Interim Net. You filming anything else?
Well, you know, we had two of your fellow Tales actors on the podcast too, right?
Okay. Who?
Yeah, we had Chris Lyman has been on the podcast, and George Dean has been on the podcast too.
Oh yeah, George is a good dude.
Yeah, I think George. I don't want to talk about the pandemic all that much, but I think George got the disease.
Yeah, he did. He said he recovered. He said, but then he came back, but he's doing well again.
Yeah,
thankfully.
That's good. Well, I did get his recording just before the pandemic, and he said that's pretty good at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think George was the last interview I did before the end of for season 2, and we're now recording for season 3.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to be back in LA, but got hit by an 18-wheeler, so.
Yeah. All right.
Now I'm gonna wait till finish up my physical therapy and hopefully I don't need surgery for this torn rotator.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I can only imagine what you must be going through with all that. I'm fortunate that I've been able to avoid that sort of thing, but
yeah. No, it's man. It's like I said, I'm just counting my blessings. It could have been so much worse. So
yeah,
doing pretty good, all things concerning.
Yeah. Again, like I said, you're still alive, so that's good.
Yeah, because I couldn't walk at first, so I saw my car 2 weeks later in the toll lot when I could walk. That's when I freaked out. I was like, holy shit, like the back end was, basically gone. It was at my back window. The front end was like, bent up. The engine was sticking out. And I was like, man, I got to write a Honda thank you letter for making such a sturdy car.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's
all good, bro. All good. What else did you want to talk about, Mike? I think you mentioned something about.
Oh yes. I believe I invited you back to the podcast so we could have a discussion about something that really hasn't been talked about on the podcast. It's been hinted at a couple of times, but it really should be talked about.
Yeah,
because being female troubles.
It's funny. I had a coworker of mine when I was a kid. He made a comment that if you're a man, you got female trouble, and he was a lion. And my best friend's granddad, he was master sergeant in World War II. With the kids, he'd joke around saying that, son, you're gonna pay for it one way or another. Well, you pay for it directly, and take it cash, or you pay for it indirectly, with your heart and mental drama stuff.
Right. Well, these are problems that have been affecting me pretty much my whole life. If you start thinking about it, it's not helped out by the fact that I have Aspergers syndrome. All right.
Yeah, I don't know the symptoms of that. If you feel like sharing, go for it. If not, it's all good.
I do plan on having an ex join me on the podcast who also suffers from Asperger's.
Oh, okay.
All right. But long story short, high school and college, I had a dreadful, shall we say, 0 for 9 streak. Most of the problem, I'm sorry to be the one to say this, but it seemed like all the girls I was interested in either weren't interested or already had boyfriends.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least one of whom threatened to kick my ass. Right. So you can imagine the psychological scarring going on then, right?
Yeah, that's when you say, "Hey, you got a cute girlfriend, man. What do you want me to do?" It's like, I didn't know she was your girlfriend. Take it as a compliment. Chill out.
Right. And while I'm in the high school frame of mind, I do seem to recall, I never got her name, but there's this one gal, brunette, during our school-sanctioned after parties, would kind of stalk me a little bit. So like, who the fuck are you, ladies? That's what I'm thinking. All right.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's it's. I think as men, there's like particular lessons you need to learn, or as boys or males, whatever.
Right.
One of those, hey, if I knew then what I know now, but one of them sort of pay attention to the sign, see which girl is giving you attention, checking you out, vibing with you, finding lame reasons to talk to you. That means that obviously it's interesting. So climb up the right tree and pick all the fruit you want, versus going after the wrong tree, like I was stupidly infamous for. But as you grow up, you get better with that. And plus, I don't know, man, I think there's like a particular set of behaviors which I don't know what's with society today. It's kind of like even Jordan Peterson, who that is. He's a world-renowned author.
I do know who Jordan Peterson is. Can't say I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean it's fine, but you can't discount the fact that he's a world-renowned psychologist and he used to teach at Harvard. But he was saying, the society of the West is basically giving up on masculinity, and so many men are raised by just either single parents or just father figures that didn't really pass down lessons that really would have helped their sons. Is that because I mean I'm no expert by any means, but I'm pretty smart guy. Learn a lot of shit from my experience. So, and I mean, if I can share that with anybody that's helpful, I'm happy to do so. One of the things when it comes to the ladies is always just be straightforward and to the point. Because if you're a strong person, you're strong in your boundaries, you're straightforward to the point. I mean, one, they're super responsive to that. Two, they respect that. They know that, hey, you're a real man. And three, I mean, they know that you're not a wishy-washy person, that you're not weak, you can't be walked all over. And it's, I mean, man, girls try to test you to see, how strong you are in your boundaries. You will stick to your guns if you do have more self-respect than you do for her. And, it's like you and me are both pretty nice guys. But I don't know if it's tooting my own horn or just give an example. I mean, I've had girls, that tried to test my boundaries, thought that I was a pushover because I'm a nice dude. And they saw, the other side real quick. That's another thing, you got to be able to want to show your teeth, meaning like, hey, stick up for yourself, whether it's a girl trying to test your boundaries to see, if you will stick up for yourself to her, because, psychologically speaking, then she feels like that she can trust you to be a real man. Mm-hmm. Or, if it's some other guys, that are trying to test you or whatever because you come off as a nice dude or whatever. I mean, that's just the way it has to be. My old martial arts teacher, Vince, he was more of a father to me than, my biological father was. He just didn't give a shit. He was doing his own things. But, I mean, that's the best advice that I've heard from him is, it's like you just got to be yourself and be a strong person, straightforward and to the point. And if you're that way, nobody has anything on you. And that's the way it has to be. And, when it comes to the ladies, I mean, give it a shot or two. If she likes you for you, great. If not, move on to the next one. That's just the way it's got to be. And another thing that I find so funny, my friend Ryan, it's, well, I didn't give out his last name. I don't think he'd mind me sharing the story. But his father was, like a real gung-ho asshole. And, they say that, oh, girls really like assholes because, and his sister told me that I won't tell you the circumstances she told me this under, but girls like douchebags because they're all about themselves. We admire guys like that because it shows that they value themselves. And then she made the comment, but you're that way, but you're nice about it.
Yeah. Well,
and yeah, it works because she's very adverse. Yeah, I mean, just give it a quick recap. Just be straightforward and to the point.
Sure.
And if she doesn't like you for you, you should just move on to the next one.
Right.
That and the reason the ladies like assholes is because they're selfish and value themselves. I mean, that's just the way it has to be. And if you're not, I mean, if they look like come off as a weak person. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but girls really aren't the nicer sex. They'll they think you're a weak guy. They'll fucking shred your feelings. They'll shred your heart like there's no tomorrow. And it's like we've had teenage experience. They're like, oh my god, but we did all this stuff together, and I did all this stuff for her. I mean, she doesn't give a shit about that. And that's just female nature. So all these people say that, oh, there's no difference between men and women. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's a hell of a lot of difference between men and women. For example, I mean, the men's identity is completely tied to their career, their purpose, whereas a women's identity, especially when they get in their 30s, is tied with relationships and kids and whatnot. So what I find interesting is I heard a couple of girls at work at lunch break talking, and apparently one of them's like 21, but she's got a 31-year-old boyfriend. So she's talking about difference in maturity level. She makes the comment that that I think he might be in a different headspace. And her 3 female friends, they chime in. They're like, "Oh, girl, he's 31. He's got baby fever." And they're like, "Oh, he's totally got baby fever at that age." And I'm like, "No offense, but are you fucking kidding me? We're men. We don't get baby fever. We don't have a biological clock that's ticking." And she's 21. She's like, "Well, I don't know if I ever want to have kids." I'm like, it's like I've seen this. It's like you're 21. What the fuck do you know? Wait till you hit 29, 30, and your biological clock starts going off. See how badly you want to have kids. And I know that because I got 2 sisters and I got a bunch of girl friends. So I find that really interesting. But another thing that I find really interesting, I had a few lady friends, who were like 33, 34, 35. And they would go out on dates with these guys. They're really nice guys, man. But if those guys, at first did 1 or 2 things wrong or said 1 or 2 things wrong, they just like dump him. Like, there's no tomorrow. Like, no, I'm not going to go out with him again. I didn't like his shoes. Like, what? It was like, but you said he's a nice guy. He's respectful, got a good career, blah, blah. She's like, yeah. But what I find interesting, those same girls who were being, didn't have too much forethought in their behavior, from my perspective, when they turn like 35, they're just trying to settle down to get with the first guy that they can, who's worth a shit, who's got a job. So I'm just like, wow. So you passed up on all these great guys just because you basically had no foresight. They said and did 1 or 2 things wrong. Now you're just basically shacking up with anything that you can because you really want to have a kid really bad. I don't know, man. I find it really interesting, but as a man, there's particular behavior you need to learn. One is, hindsight's 2020. So pay attention to the signals, because the women are really subtle about when they like you. They'll find lame reasons to talk to you, or they'll be checking you out, or they'll get in your personal space, or they'll play with their hair or whatever when you're around. To other girls, it's obvious that, hey, she's throwing it at you. She's interested. And the guys are like, oh, she didn't say anything. I mean, reflecting back on it, I was like, I knew then what I knew now. There was a lot of beautiful ladies I could have easily hooked up with who were throwing it at me, but I was too dumb to pick up on the signals.
And that's another way that having Asperger's affects me, is that I don't pick up on that type of thing,
Social cues.
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, because there's timing involved with it.
I talked about that's just the high school and college side of things. Sure. I think the adult side of things are all right.
Yeah, go.
So the first woman who was, shall we say, crazy enough to date me, I was working security, right? And
oh, come on, man. That's I'm gonna cut you off real quick. Play big brother there or whatever. That's mistake number 1, man. You gotta value yourself. Have some confidence, and think about the good things about yourself, what you do have to offer. And I mean, I'm not a fan of Kid Rock, but that fucker said that, hey, if you act like you're the shit, people treat you like you're the shit. Or hey, if you have respect for yourself, other people will be forced to respect you too. And if they don't, you put up a boundary and be like, oh, I'm not doing this. That goes a long way. You gotta, believe in yourself and think about the things, you do have to offer and not just fake it till you make it. Anyway, so that's
I finished my
one
score,
thing I'd like
please.
you to pay that's one thing that I'd like to pay you to pay attention to if this is something you want help with. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
All right,
finish your story.
I think the stories are important in trying to help me.
Sure.
To give you some idea of what all I've gone through.
Go for it.
So yeah, working security one night in Westport, and she comes up. It's about Halloween time, and her costume's about to fall off, right? And she asked me to help her out, and I at that point I felt obliged to leave my number with her, and next thing you know,
because you probably did that on purpose.
Went out for about a month after that, so, and that remains the longest I've been involved with someone romantically. Now I know Caroline and everything, and we spend a lot of time together.
Cool.
She's not interested in getting romantic with anyone, so it's not just me in that case, but we are very close in a platonic sense.
Cool.
Yeah, and I respect that. Other women, I'm not going to name names. I'm lucky to get second dates from.
Sure.
And but it's never gotten to a point where I'm comfortable asking for sex or anything. So I'm still a virgin at 41. There, I said it on a podcast. I'm still a virgin at age 41. And there have been some interesting happenstances. You were talking about your car race. Just before one date, this one I was still driving the van. All right. I had a lot of free time before this date, so I'm driving around, and I wound up backing into a mailbox and shattering the rearview window.
Yeah.
So,
shit.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. And then there was another one that's a little more recent. I left my wallet at home. So she wound up having to pay for it.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to name names, but these are
hey, at least
have happened. And then there was And then there was one we went out to a T-Bones game. Not the most. I'll be completely honest. Not exactly my type, but I went out with her again, just a pity, and just called it after that second date. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So yeah. So I think
I understand.
Yeah. So I think for me a big obstacle is girls I'm attracted to either not interested or already seeing someone. The type that I seem to attract, I'm not attracted to.
Huh.
Yeah, it's especially bad on the online side. And of course, that one time that I got scammed. We all know. I think you know that story by now.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know what to say on that one. What do you think would help you? Like, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Well, believe it or not, just a few days ago, on my iPad, I have a app called it's BetterHelp.
Yeah.
Which hooks you up with different therapists, right?
Right.
So I decided to give it a shot, and I'm someone who saw a therapist for about a decade.
Yeah.
The only reason I don't see the therapist anymore, my current insurance doesn't cover him.
Gotcha.
Right, but he's a damn good therapist. And everything.
Yeah, I mean,
But anyway, the therapist I talked with during the week, I told her about my problems and everything.
yeah.
He suggested one of two things. One, practice asking total strangers to talk with them and everything in public.
Yeah.
And two, asking my friends to hook me up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but everything I've done so far hasn't been working. So yeah, we might give that. I might have to give that a shot. So,
yeah, it's I mean, it's just like everything's a skill set. Like when I was younger, I just did not talk to girls. Like I didn't have the confidence to do it. And then luckily I had a best friend, who was 4 years older, and he would make me do it.
Yeah, you brought that up last time.
Go out to a party. Yeah. So, I mean, it's like everything is a skill set, whether it's, talking to girls or to drive a car or whatnot. So, but you can take an improv class that'll really, help you open up and, keep the conversation going. Or, if you're talking to strangers, I mean, just, that saying, girls just want to have fun. You don't ever go against that because it's very true. And just shoot the shit. Or, I mean, we could get into a, whole different subject. I'm no expert.
I'm sure there are other subjects we can talk about too. So, but yeah, it's basically one of the two. I just don't feel comfortable asking total strangers, if they'd like to talk and everything else.
That's stupid advice. Who the fuck's gonna do that? Like, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I mean, first of all, everybody feels, anxiety when they're going to go talk to someone that they don't know. I know that from experience because when I tried to talk to girls I didn't know, I'd be like, But
interestingly enough, that's where game nights and stuff could come into play. Unfortunately, most of the women that participate in those game nights are already married or seeing someone. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, just go out and do cool, fun shit, and you'll find someone who likes doing similar stuff. But, yeah, man, I think that's dumb advice when you're a therapist. Go ask strangers if they want to talk. That's fucking weird. I'm a pretty sociable guy. I'm like, hey, would you like to talk? I mean, just shoot the shit about something, notice something about him. Like the guy that I made friends with, who was an NFL referee. He was like wearing a cool ass fedora at the airport. We were on standby. So I was like, hey, I like your fedora, man. He's like, oh, thanks, blah, 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 blah. And I noticed he had a Super Bowl ring. And I was like, is that a Super Bowl ring? He's like, yeah, I used to be an NFL referee. So you just notice things, point out little things. People like talking about themselves. I don't know, man. I mean, you and Mike, like, once this COVID crap's over, go out and, shoot the shit. I mean, truth is that thanks to my best friends, training back in the day for pushing me to talk to the ladies, I actually are really good at it. But the thing that I suffered with was, like, I didn't realize, women's bloodthirsty nature, or they think you're a weak guy, or, if you're not holding back, or you're being too nice or giving too much attention, be off to the next guy and, rip your heart out without thinking twice about it. So I mean, those things you got to pay attention to as well, so it's like one is, being able to pick them up, and the other is, being able to distance yourself and manage your behaviors. You can manage their behaviors. Plus, you don't know what you're going to be in for. Don't be blindsided because all this Disney shit on TV. Like, oh, you fall in love with the same person. It's so romantic, blah, blah, blah. Be the nice guy. I'm like, fuck, you act like that in real life, it's going to backfire on you. Plus, another thing that I find interesting is like all these characters on TV. Like when I was a kid, you had like Arnold and fucking Rambo and Van Damme and all these, cool masculine guys. Or if you watch 50s, you had like John Wayne and Gregory Peck, blah blah. But nowadays, all the guys on TV are, like fumbling idiots. Like I was watching that Ready Player One movie. All these guys are just weak, pathetic pussies looking for, girls' approval and acting like, they're just dipshits with no confidence or dominance whatsoever. And all these guys, what is like over half of males now in our society are being raised by single mom. They see this shit and they think, oh, hey, I saw this on TV and it worked on TV. That doesn't work in real life. Like I said, it's simple as just being straightforward and to the point. If somebody doesn't like you for you, that's okay. On to the next one. And that's just the way it's got to be. Because if you act like a wishy-washy, weak person, they'll fucking shrink your heart. And I guess the good thing about that is, hey, a girl will teach you, how to act like a strong man. So, if what you're doing isn't working, you switch it up. And I just told you what works. So that helps great. Try it. And I wouldn't tell you you're wrong. I'm not the smartest guy, but in my observation, I do know what works in particular ways. So hopefully that helps. I understand. It's
yeah.
It can be tough, especially if you have Aspergers or whatnot. But
yeah,
maybe take an improv class, or go out with a buddy, who's good to the ladies, who's good at shooting shit with the girls.
Do you know I was in an improv troupe for a little bit? So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. In fact, I had.
Yeah, it really teaches you to open.
Yeah. In fact, one of the episodes early on was with Chris Hertz, and we did a improv exercise with that. He was in the improv troupe as well. And
yeah,
of course, this haven't worked with me before, that I like having my actors do improv. It's in part because of my own experience with improv. And
yeah, bro. Improv is great. Another really good exercise is to improv as the character. So you can get that character's mindset. Of course, like you and I both have acting backgrounds and whatnot, so that helps too. But yeah, man, I understand. It's tough for normal guys too. You don't have like a big brother or a dad who told you how things were, or didn't have a friend who had good intentions and just kind of told you the way shit is to help you out. But like I said, you and I can go around shooting the shit in public once things open up. Just have a good time, be friendly, shoot the shit with people.
Right.
So, because I found you can just talk, have a good conversation with a girl, just joke around, shoot the shit, and just be like, hey, I had fun chatting with you. I got to run. Give me your number. Let's do this again. It's really that simple. Or, you want to hang out sometime? What's the worst thing that happens? She says no. Big fucking deal. You just talk where you want. And luckily, she's not the only one around, is she? There's lots of girls everywhere. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's not this one, the next one. Let's keep taking action. Be consistent with it.
So I guess we'll go and switch topics real quick.
Yeah, well, whatever you want to talk about.
Let's talk about what have you been doing during this whole. I know I wasn't going to talk about pandemic and everything, but what have you been doing? You mentioned a couple days ago when we were scheduling that you were working and everything. So
I've been. Yeah, bro. I've been. I really don't want to say my company name, but I've been working from home, doing sales, online and phone sales. So which is cool. Like I said, my original plan was to be in LA at this time, but that got sidetracked. but yeah, before that I was off.
Yeah, LA's got it worse than we do, I think. So yeah. But no one has it worse than New York. Yeah.
Right. And then I was on short-term disability after that. Because of that.
Because the accident.
That was pretty drastic. Before that, man, I was just working and just working on my craft. I read an hour a day and like in acting, sales, business, writing scripts, watching interviews on YouTube. That can help me in the future. So,
sure.
So I don't want to say too much, but I recently wrote a script and got some pretty good attention and traction with some of the folks I know out in Hollywood area. So
Awesome.
that'll be fun.
Yeah. I've been doing DoorDash deliveries. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, and that came about again because of the podcast. My friends Luke and Dan, who I used to work with at Lapada, were on the podcast as well. I don't know if you heard that episode, but you definitely should. It was actually
No, I saw you post about Lapada back in the day. I used to know this lady who used to sell Lapada jewelry.
Oh, she was a Lapada rep. We were in the warehouse working providing the jewelry for those reps, and my first year working with them, I had to do the annual conference at Ball Hall. Oh boy, they're crazy. They're crazy. But no, we were in the warehouse and everything, and that's how I know those guys. We were talking about ways that we can make money with our cars and everything, and Luke was actually the one that suggested, hey, you should try doing DoorDash and bring people's food. Well, I signed up for DoorDash about November, and certainly during the chess club season, I just do it whenever I can, everything. But since the pandemic has hit, I've pretty much made it a full-time job almost. So, and
Gotcha.
yeah, it's been very good work. Everything, getting out of the house. Without it, I'd be insane right now. All right.
Yeah, bro. This is one of the problems I'm having, because I'm like super extroverted. Working from home, I kind of feel like I'm in solitary confinement, sitting at the desk all day, calling these people, talking, just like, oh my God. So, and I read this article, it's one guy committed suicide because of, I guess he was already prone to depression and his isolation. He just couldn't take it anymore. So it's pretty tragic. Hopefully things open up, soon. So,
yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
So I'm seeing full. So as a result, I'm seeing what's going on with everything. Some restaurants, like Chipotle, for example. By the way, a lot of business I get from Chipotle. They won't let anyone inside right now. You have to stand outside, and they tell them, I'm picking up for so-and-so, and they'll bring the food to you, right? And it's different from restaurant to restaurant. Sometimes you can just go drive through, they'll accept it. Or sometimes you just go inside and see, all the tables and chairs have been pushed to the side and everything. It's like a ghost town almost. And at some of these places. And then getting to the houses and everything. Some are just too afraid to open their doors right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's kind of sad in a way.
Yeah, bro. It's definitely a wacky time.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I hear this all the time as well. What I'm doing has been described as life-saving to some people, and I can take comfort in that. And by the way,
bro, that's awesome.
And by the way, my sister gets to keep doing her job at her office and everything. So at least in this household, it's practically normal. Except for the fact that I can't really teach chess right now.
Yeah, and your sister loves the Packers, and you don't. And your dad loves the Steelers.
Yeah, sister loves the Packers. Dad loves the Steelers. Mom loves the Cowboys, and ironically, I adopted Arizona as my replacement team.
Yeah, I was like, what? You live in Kansas City area, but nobody reps the Chiefs. I mean, I have to because I'm from here.
Well, so am I, but you don't see me repping the Chiefs. And I think I've already explained ad nauseum why I don't. So,
yeah, well, like for me, when I was a kid, I used to live. What?
I was going to say, ironically, I played high school football, right? And
right.
Yeah, one of my teammates on that team did play professionally. I think he was with the Chiefs as an undrafted free agent at one point. They wound up playing NFL Europe for a year and then the Canadian League for a while. And his father played in the NFL. All right.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was their names?
So my teammate's name was Henri Childs. His father was Henry Childs, who was a tight end, mostly with the Saints. Passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh man, sorry to hear.
I think he's on some pretty. He's in this Saints Hall of Fame, but I think he was on some pretty bad Saints teams with Archie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's his name sounds familiar. He must have played with Archie Manning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I think I may have met him a couple of times while I was playing as just junior and senior year, and all that. So.
Cool. Yeah. It's interesting. I was at the airport once when the whole Oakland Raiders team landed. They were playing the Chiefs the next day. So it was funny. Like back when this was when they had Randy Moss. And everyone was saying that he was like jogging his route. So it was like a group of Raiders, and about 10 feet behind was Randy Moss by himself. He's like looking down. He's wearing a fedora and sunglasses, not talking to anyone. 10 feet behind him is another group of Raiders. Mm-hmm. So, but what was interesting was like Warren Sapp, was the first one out. And I was like I watched the NFL, and I'm like, it's Warren Sapp. So I was like, hey man, what's going on? He looked at me, podcast you can hear. He gave me this look like he just. That I addressed him that he smelled a bunch of shit in his head. I was like, and walked off. I was like, okay. Yeah. Then Al Davis was on a walker.
Oh yeah, Al Davis, yeah. I got a few more security stories involving NFL players, actually. Oh yeah. Yeah, because I did when I was doing security work, a lot of it was. Like at the Sheraton and at the Westin, everything. The type of hotels that NFL players would come to, like for instance, I think it's 2005 when Washington was in town. I was called to do security for their arrival. Right, bunch of cool guys. I remember seeing Dan Snyder, the Washington owner.
Right.
The dude is short in person. All right. Yeah. And then Joe Gibbs was the coach at the time. Very genteel gentleman. And they also had the TV crew standing there too. So I said, hey to Tony Siragusa. Yeah.
Is he huge in person too?
He's about your size, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's because he was like starting to gain a lot of weight, but I know he's like around my height. And,
about your size.
I'm right under 6'4", so
yeah.
Listeners.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I told this story with Luke and Dan, getting Sammy Knight's car out of the valet, and he had a weird key. I think it was a Benz, and the key was all weird, and I was inadvertently opening the trunk and everything, and he was really cool about it, actually. And
he understood. He's like,
yeah, he was cool with it. Yeah, he was cool with it.
Man, I was like that when that's the thing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there are a couple of other minor stories involving Chiefs players at the hotel and everything. Then there's the 101 awards that I also brought up with the guys. This was at the Westin, and had to let Dwight Freeney into his hotel room.
Oh, really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy, too. Actually.
Yeah. Did he tip you?
No, he didn't tip me, but we had a pleasant conversation while I was walking him to his room and everything. So, yeah, really cool guy. Really cool.
He with the Chargers. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer.
He was with the Colts at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like we had a bunch of NFL players. The nicest were, Derek Johnson and Tony Gonzalez. And every time I ran into Tony, he always had like two gorgeous women with him. He likes to tall girls that were like at least 5'10". It's like, wow.
Oh,
Tony.
I got another story.
Lucky girl.
So this is when I was still in college, right? I went to the movie theater out in Olathe.
Yeah.
And I was in the concession line. I forget what movie I was seeing, but the concession line just over there, getting their stuff was Tony Gonzalez and Warren Moon. And they had a couple of young ladies with them. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to meet Tony G. All right, brothers. Something. If not, I'm going to go grab a bite.
All right. Yeah, I think we've talked about all we need to. So I've gone stop the corner. But hey, thanks for coming back on the podcast. All right. Take it easy.
Hey, no problem. Once the COVID clears up, you want to go out, hit the town out and about, shoot some shit with some of the ladies. That'll be pretty fun.
Yeah. It should open up about next week for everyone in the metro. So, but we shall see. All right.
Good question to ask. Like, hey, what'd you do during this?
I don't do that, but all right. All right.
Why not? It's fun. They'd be like, oh my God, I was bored to death.
I've been working, so yeah. All right. Take it easy, my friend.
All right. Yeah, you can, Mike. You can do that.